Welcome to another edition of the BSPN32 Sports Report. I'm Colin Simpson.
Big Hungry. I really like the set, what they've done here. It kind of looks like a Hobby Lobby.
Oh, yes it does. But, it's a very festive time of year.
Yeah.
It's Christmas time.
Love the Christmas season.
Holiday season,
Great time for bowl season, too.
Ooh, bowl season is coming up in a couple of weeks, so
Yep.
We'll get into that when it comes up. But, the first thing we got on tap for you guys today is David Price. A huge deal was made with him and the Boston Red Sox this past week. It is a $217 million contract over 7 years.
Crazy. He's going to be making, 98 cents a second?
Yes, and, he's now the highest paid player in the MLB.
Yeah. So what a major accomplishment for not only David Price, but Blackman High School, an alum here. Maybe we'll be getting some turf.
Maybe.
Who knows what else?
He's had a very good career. He's was the number 1 overall pick out of Vanderbilt when he came out in the draft. He's played for the Rays, he's played for the Tigers, the Blue Jays, and now he will be playing for the Red Sox. Predominantly, he's been in the AL East most of his career, though.
Yep.
So he's got experience, obviously, that they could very much value in the AL East. He knows those teams, and
I think he'll be a great fit for Boston.
And they got they're good players. They got Big Papi. They still got a good pitching staff. So
I think he'll get a ring.
It's gonna be a very dangerous team in Boston. I think the only thing that he's got left to prove is that he can be a playoff pitcher.
Yeah,
because that's the thing he
struggled with a little bit. Yeah.
He finally won his first playoff game this past year, and he's been in the league for a while now. So that's one thing he's got to work on, I think.
Yep.
But we'll definitely see what comes up. Spring training comes along soon, but I think it's going to be big things in Boston.
I'm very excited to see what happens up in the Northeast.
All right. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, our man Spencer will be here to talk to us about some NBA stuff that happened this past week. Welcome back. Our man Spencer is here with us.
Hey, how you doing?
I've been good, man. How about you?
I'm doing great.
We haven't had you on here since really the MLB season ended, so it's good to get you back on here, man.
Missed it.
Oh, yeah. All right, so there was a big game last night. The Warriors traveled to Charlotte. They played the Hornets, and, they took care of business. Steph Curry had 40 points. And
40. Didn't even play the fourth quarter, I don't think. He's just, at this point in the season, how well he's already doing. He's already surpassed so many records. It's just how good of a shooter he is and how mature he is as a player also. It's just unreal for how young he is.
Yeah, and they ended up winning the game 116-99. They're 20-0. This is the best start any team's had in NBA history. They look they just look unbeatable. It's unreal.
There's only one team I think that can compete with them, and that's on Christmas Day with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And other than that, I don't see them losing anytime soon.
No, there's nobody that's been – they've played a couple close games, but they always come out – Steph Curry is just a great – he's the best shooter, in my opinion, in NBA history.
Yeah, he's definitely up there.
He passed his father in 3 points in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And they honored his father last night because it was in Charlotte. His dad played for the Hornets. So, he knows that organization.
Yep.
They love him. But, it was just a great game by them. He ended up with 40. And he scored 24 points in the last 7 minutes and 30 seconds alone in the third quarter. The Hornets scored 14 in that amount of time. That is unreal just to take over a game like that.
Yeah. They couldn't stop him. No one can guard him. He's just one of those players that just – He creates his own shot really well, and he beats people off the ball. He just can't be stopped.
Yeah, they've got a really good team. They look just like the most complete team in NBA, even though they have a bunch of stars, and they look like the most complete team in the NBA right now.
Look really good.
Yeah. And then this past week, also, the Lakers and the 76ers played. This is a team that these two teams haven't had the best, but the 76ers finally got their first win of the season.
Yeah.
Against the Lakers, though.
Yeah. Well, that's an accomplishment.
I guess, but I mean, it's just been downhill for both of these teams. Really,
it's not going really well. The 76ers star player just got a 2-game suspension.
Jaleel,
and I mean, Lakers are just not winning games. I mean, the highlight of their season so far is Kobe.
Yeah,
how he's ending his year.
Yeah,
sadly.
And speaking of Kobe, we have, since he announced he's retiring, we have his top 10 plays of his career. And a lot of these plays are obviously younger Kobe.
Yep.
Because he can't do some of the things he used to.
Yeah.
But when we get into that in a second, I mean, he's one of the greatest of all time.
He is. He's up there on my list. He's just, ever since he was growing up through the system, he's just been a complete player. I mean, he works hard. There's no one that outworks him.
No.
And he just works his butt off every single day, every day and night, goes out there and tries to be better than everybody else on the court.
Yes, he does. And we have that top 10 video for what we believe is his best plays of his career. I mean, the man is a legend right now living. So here we go, number 10. It was a game against Phoenix in about 2007, and look at this, Kobe over Steve Nash.
Oh, Steve.
Oh, man. What a dunk. What a dunk. And then at number 9, 2009, Miami and LA banked it in. That was an amazing shot.
You think he called glass?
Yeah, I think he called glass.
Think he called it?
I think he called game. Oh, man. But, I mean, just those game-winning shots Kobe's known for. It's just unreal. Number 8, 2002 NBA playoffs, getting guarded by Scottie Pippen, and then the alley-oop to Shaq. The put-down, though. I mean, look at that. Scottie Pippen guarding him.
He couldn't even keep up with him.
And then
too quick.
Backdoor to Shaq. Some of the greatest years in for the Lakers right here. And then number 7, Kobe over a young Dwight Howard.
Oh.
Gosh. Postered him up.
Yeah, he could get up there back in the day.
Back to number 8, Kobe.
Yeah.
All right, and then at number 6, look at this. Look at the moves, and then the assist to Ronnie Turioff.
Yeah, he did him dirty.
Gosh, look at the movement. I mean, this is 24 Kobe, but still, look at that. Look at that. Just the grace and the pass, spot on. Number 5, again, Kobe Bryant. Look at the baseline, Jay.
A reverse dunk? Haven't seen that in a while.
No, I mean, he went right past Kevin Garnett. Great
KG
pop.
back with the Wolves?
All right, number 4. Look at this. Robert Horry with the long pass. Oh, my Lord. The 360 jam. Oh. Behind his back and everything. That is just amazing athleticism by the young Kobe Bryant at the time.
Yeah, back in number 8.
Number 3, the rookie Kobe Bryant. Oh, a poster again on the Wizards. I mean,
wow.
Look at that. Just right over him, man. He just couldn't be moved.
His teammates were like, oh, my.
Number 2, this is a playoff game against, look at that. He steals the ball from Steve Nash.
Steve, come on.
Then they give it up to Kobe. Game is tied and would go to overtime. Look at that.
That defines him. Clutch player.
All right, here you go. Last seconds in overtime. The tip. Luke Walton gets it out to Kobe. And what Kobe does what Kobe does. Game. Look at that. Lakers win that game, and just amazing performance.
Oh, yeah.
And then the number 1. We can't really even call it a play. We have to call it the number 1 game of Kobe's career.
Oh,
he scored 81 points on the Toronto Raptors, the second best scoring game of anybody in NBA history behind Wilt Chamberlain. Just a complete dominance, was on fire all night long. It is unreal. Nobody, I think, will ever come close to at least scoring 81. They'll hit the 60s, but not 81.
I don't believe it.
And
not LeBron, nobody. I don't think they'll come close.
And it's sad to see Kobe go, man. We've grown up and watched Kobe play. I mean, he was a rookie in '97, so he's been around for or '96, so he's been around almost as long as most of us. So
yeah, he's been in there 20 years now.
It's crazy to think.
Yeah, he's gonna be missed. He's a great player. He's definitely in the top 10, top 5 area.
Yeah,
with all the great players.
Definitely. Well, we will see what happens with the rest of the Lakers in this season.
I hope they turn out better.
Yes, they do. Thank you again for being on with us, Spencer.
Yeah.
It's always good to have you on here.
Yep.
So when we come back from this break, we're going to get into last week's college football and NFL games.
At BSPN32 Sports Report, we're here to provide you with the latest breaking sports news. Let's take a look and see what Colin's doing. Ooh, hey Colin.
Hey, Hungry. What's going on, man?
Not much.
yeah.
I thought you were a Notre Dame fan.
Yeah, see? I'm a Notre Dame fan.
What's on your shirt?
Just, Nike sign. Yeah.
Oh, hey, bud. Where you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
With Gary and Todd?
Yeah?
I've been meaning to ask you, is there any drinking going on in this crowd?
No?
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't. I'd do anything to keep you safe.
Okay, I will.
I hope this is working.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Welcome back. We got our man DJ on and Cameron back on here to talk some college football. It's good to have DJ on. I think after last week, the last time we were on the sports show, we really wanted to have you on here and Cameron as well. I mean, you both are really good at what you do.
Oh, thanks, Colin. Yeah, became kind of a fan favorite.
Oh, yes, you did. I believe so. All right, so let's get right into last week's college football games. First one we got for you guys. Oh, my fault. We also have the state championship this Friday. Ravenwood will be playing Maryville, rematch from last year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good game to watch. I think they're two very good teams. And I think Maryville's going to win another one, I think this isn't the same Ravenwood team that it is last year. Mm-hmm. And Maryville, they're a solid team.
I agree with you.
I just think Maryville's been doing this longer than Ravenwood. And I got Maryville.
I agree with you guys. I got Maryville. They just look dominant, They unfortunately beat us pretty good. But they took care of Oakland. But,
yeah.
So I think they're going to come out
It's always
on
good
top.
to see Oakland lose.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
At least they lost. All right. But so now let's get into this past weekend's games. We had Baylor and TCU. This game on Thursday night was awesome. We have highlights from this game. I mean, it wasn't necessarily an offensive game, which is really weird for these two Big 12 teams.
I know. There's some defense in there. That's kind of surprising.
Unexpected, definitely.
Yeah, Trevon Boykin's been having ankle issues, so he would get the okay to play. Early in the first quarter, though, Devin Chafin would get it in. I mean, he's been the guy running back for Baylor. I mean, he had the yards. He had 119 yards and 2 TDs in this game. But then Trevon Boykin again would back, and he would find Jerson Stewart in the end zone for the touchdown.
It's a shame. I don't know what happened to TCU and Boykin. He was hyped up, and I don't know what happened to him. People don't talk about him anymore.
And here you go, Devin Chafin, right there with his second TD run of the game. I mean, he had a really good game.
Yeah, he did. Great game. Great kid, great player.
And then he'd be back again, and then Xavier Howard would get the pick for Baylor, and this would turn the game around a little bit.
Yeah, it's a couple plays in each game kind of changed the momentum to swing one way or another.
But then third-string quarterback Chris Johnson for Baylor would get picked off as well by Nick Orr. I mean, this game was just turnovers after turnovers.
Yeah, it's kind of a hot dog game.
But, and then here you go. Chris Johnson would keep running it, and then Josh Caraway would get the fumble recovery for TCU, and he would take it in for the touchdown.
Definitely a big momentum shift after that play.
Yeah, I mean, this game would be a lot of turnovers, though. Trevon Boykin would be back and running the ball, and he'd fumble as well, and Baylor would recover.
What are you doing, Trevon?
I mean, this guy was supposed to be the Heisman frontrunner this year.
You won't get a high five for that.
And then here you go again. Chris Johnson fumbles it again. 5 turnovers for Baylor in this game, and it is unreal how it turned out. They would go to the fourth, and Chris Johnson would take the knee and send it to overtime. Overtime rules are you have to score to keep playing, and once you go to the third overtime, you have to go for 2. So, I mean, it'd be very, very action-packed overtime, as much as it not was in the beginning, the first 4 quarters.
Especially with these two offensive teams.
Oh, no, it was unreal. Chris Johnson would do the jump pass to guess who? Devin Chafin.
Love this. I look at the weather. It just looks like a fun game to play in.
And then, so TCU would get their chance to score and tie the game up. Trevon Boykin back in the pistol. And a great read option right there. Great job of pulling it, in my opinion, instead of going and handing it off. And then he'd go TCU again, would get another chance to score to try to take the lead. And he would find Kevontae Turpin for the touchdown. And then Baylor just couldn't get it on 4th and 1 to save the game.
Not a good enough push by the O-line there. They need to dig harder.
Couldn't get any movement.
Nope. I mean, Art Briles was as surprised as everybody was for this Baylor team. I mean, it was a very good defensive game because there was a lot of turnovers, but that also could have been because of the weather.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was because of the weather. I mean, not to discredit these two defenses, but that's not what these schools are known for.
Oh, no.
No. I mean, it was just – I watched the game in its entirety. It was very sloppy by both quarterbacks in the offenses, more or less Baylor's than TCU's, because TCU's offense just couldn't get anything done, which is surprising. But, you know, Trevor Boykin had ankle issues and stuff like that, and Baylor's down to the 3rd quarterback.
That's rough.
It's been rough for them.
That is rough.
All right. Then the next game we had from last week was Louisville and Kentucky. Kentucky at one point had a, 21-point lead? Or
at
14?
least 17-point lead. And you just think, you know, Kentucky's going to find a way to blow the game. And what did they do? They blew the game.
I mean, both teams haven't been as good as people thought they would, so this looked up to be a very good, even matchup, and turned out it wasn't.
Kentucky's just got to find a way to win those games. I mean, they had a chance to go to a bowl game, and it's right there. You got to take it. You got to take that chance.
Yep.
What do you think about that, Cameron?
You know, I think, like you said, this is typical Kentucky, you know, and I think until Kentucky gets something to go their way, I think they've had a lot of kind of tough breaks in the games. Until they get something to go their way, you know, I think it's still going to continue on that slide.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, I think they got good talent.
Yeah,
it's just execution.
I mean, they're still an SEC team that can go toe-to-toe with anybody. But it's just it's the way the ball bounces.
Yes, it is. All right, and then our next game from last week was the game, Ohio State and Michigan. It was no contest. Ohio State dominated the game from the beginning, and, you know, I was impressed with this Ohio State team.
I was disappointed. I thought Michigan was going to play a better game.
Yes.
Ohio State, they really rebounded after that Michigan State loss, and I think that well, Colin, what do you think?
You know, this was after what happened last week with all the Ezekiel Elliott drama and Cardale Jones stuff. This is a very good win.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, anytime you beat Michigan as Ohio State, huge.
Yeah, I think Ohio State had a lot to play for. You know, they're coming off a loss to Michigan, Michigan State, and just people have been talking all week about just how Michigan was going to – even I said it, the state of Michigan was going to sweep Ohio State, and they were not going to put up with that. So they came out, and I was really impressed with the way they played.
I was too. I mean, it was just – this puts them back into the conversation, though, depending on what happens this week with Conference Championship week to stay in the playoff. So we'll see what happens. All right, our next game was the Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn. We have highlights for this one as well. Alabama, you know, they kicked a lot of field goals, and so did Auburn. I mean, it was close.
Actually, Alabama kickers made them.
Yeah, that was the only difference, that all the Alabama kickers made it. But here you go in the second quarter. Jake Coker would find Calvin Ridley right here. Look at that. What a grab right there. I mean, this game wouldn't have a lot of scoring. As I said, field goals would be the story of the game.
SEC defense.
You know, and then here you go, Jake Coker back again. And look at that. Just a great catch by Darius Stewart right there. Alabama wide receivers have been making plays all year. And then here you go, Calvin Ridley. This would be actually Darius Stewart again. And they called that incomplete. That would set up another Adam Griffin kick. And, I mean, it was at one point 12-6. I mean, nothing but field goals.
And defense, just SEC defense right there.
Jake Coker back again, gets away from the pass rush, and then finds a Darius Stewart in the back of the end zone. This time it would be a touchdown.
Yeah, this was a play that kind of pushed the game Alabama's way, because up until this point, you know, it was really going either way.
Jeremiah Johnson back right here, and he finds Jason Smith. Look at the
How
focus.
many times has Auburn done that in the last 4 years or so? It's ridiculous.
Look at the focus to bat it back to himself. I mean, great play by Auburn right here. I mean, this would keep him in the game for a little bit, but I don't think it just wouldn't do enough, because here you go, Derrick Henry. You can't stop this man.
Just like I've said before, you can only maybe slow him down.
Yeah, he's running his way to the Heisman right there.
He had, on the day, 271 yards. That would be his only touchdown. and that would seal the deal for the most part. Auburn trying to save the game right here. They would go with the little, with the hook and ladder, and it would not work. And Alabama wins the Iron Bowl 29-13. Just another dominant performance for the most part by this Alabama team. They had their little sputters on offense, but they dominated the game.
Well, that's what good teams do, especially in rivalry games. You got to find a way to go to your enemy's territory and get the job done, and that's what Alabama did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the past few years, it's been going Alabama's way. Again this year, I think it just shows that what Nick Saban and that staff at Alabama has done year after year to lead them to another SEC championship and to definitely another playoff.
Mm-hmm. And we'll see what happens again this week with the SEC championship game and just everything with the conference championships. All right, and then our next game was the Egg Bowl, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Ole Miss. This has been just the story of them. They've had their games where they dominate, and then the games when they don't dominate, this is one of the ones they dominated.
Yep. Ole Miss really came out. They really wanted to win this game. They really solidified the season. It was kind of rough. They beat Alabama, and they lose to Memphis, and kind of shaky year all around. But winning the Egg Bowl really capped off their season.
I agree.
I will give Mississippi State this. It started out really bad for them, and they came back a little bit. But Ole Miss, they've done this more. They know how to win these games.
I completely agree with you both. I mean, that's how it's been for both of these teams. Dak Prescott has been the only real thing for Mississippi State that's been a positive. I mean, they've stayed up there in the rankings, but it just hasn't been enough.
Yeah.
All right, and then our next game was just a very good game to the finish. It was Notre Dame and Stanford, the battle for the Legends Trophy. We have highlights from this one, and this game has so many playoff implications. Stanford already in the Pac-12 championship. Notre Dame trying to stay and get back in the top four. I mean, just a very hyped game. People said this was the game of the week in a lot of people's eyes. Stanford would have the early lead in the first quarter, 7-0. They'd kick it to C.J. Sanders, and look at this special teams play right here.
It's great blocking right there.
The blocking was all there. C.J. Sanders found the hole, and he would take it 93 yards for the touchdown to get Notre Dame back in the game early. I mean, just great special teams play. Look at the blocking. Every block is perfectly where it needs to be right there.
You could drive a tractor trailer through that hole.
Oh, my. It certainly looked like you could right there. And then again, in the second quarter, Sean Kaiser back to pass, and who other but Will Fuller makes a catch and runs it in for the touchdown.
That's a deadly combination. That's just it's really hard to stop that combination.
Here you go, Kevin Hogan back near the red zone, and then Michael Rector would break a tackle and get in for the touchdown, put Stanford up.
Poor job of tackling. That's one of the basics. That's how you lose games.
Then Raymond Wright right here would jump over his line and get in for the Stanford touchdown. It wasn't necessarily the power game. It was all offense, no defense in this game. And then freshman Josh Adams, the third running back for Notre Dame this year, takes it in for a long touchdown run. And look at this right here. It was all about the motion with Torrey Hunter Jr. right here that sold and brought the corners over, and then they just found the hole. Look at this.
Yeah, you got the two pullers right there, really got those kick blocks, and you're just able to pull up inside and take it to the house.
They brought
by that line too.
Yes, sir. And then here you go. Stanford again near the goal line. Kevin Hogan would find Austin Hooper. And, hey, Hungry, that play looks familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does, Really just had the defense out of position and really let them score.
And Deshaun Kaiser with the end around keep. There'd be a flag for offsides, but they would review the play to be sure his knee wasn't down. The play would stand. Notre Dame goes up with 30 seconds to go. And here you go. There'd be a face mask penalty on first down to start this drive. And then Stanford would execute, and he would find Devin Kajust, who would be the main target with 125 yards and a touchdown on the day. But then here you go. Conrad Ukrapina, 45-yard field goal to win the game. And not blocked, it's up, and it is good. Stanford upsets Notre Dame 38-36. Deshaun Kaiser couldn't believe it. Me as a Notre Dame fan, I couldn't believe it as well. Just tough game. Tough game. It was a great game as well.
It was a great game. I think that game could have gone either way. You know, it just happened. Stanford would get the ball with a little bit of time left.
What came down to that, I think it was the home field advantage. I think if it had been roles reversed at Notre Dame would have done that. It's just a great game overall.
Yeah, it was just a great game to watch. You know, a lot of offense, and which is very surprising for these two teams together. It's usually defense.
These are two mainly power teams, especially Stanford, and they kind of got away from that. They really went to the air, and that's why the score was so high. It was kind of surprising.
It worked, too.
Yeah.
It did. All right, our next game from last week was Florida and Florida State. This was just ugly by Florida. This just proves that Florida is overranked, in my opinion. They're overrated, and Florida State's just they showed that they were.
Yeah, you know, I think, like you said, Florida being, what are they, number 12, 13?
They dropped to 18th after these rankings.
Okay, now they're number 18, but they should have lost to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt. They should have lost to Vanderbilt. Let's keep that in mind.
And remember, Middle should have beaten Vanderbilt too, so remember that.
Yeah.
And the Florida Atlantic, they should have lost to
Should have lost to Florida Atlantic. Should have lost to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yes, there's been a lot of close games in Florida that went their way in the end, but probably shouldn't have.
The team representing the SEC East very well should be at the bottom of the SEC East.
They'd be in the bottom of the SEC West.
Yeah,
They would.
no doubt, yeah.
Yeah, so the only reason Florida scored is because Florida State let them.
Yeah.
Because they got a safety, but just horrible game by Florida. That was the story of this game.
I think the story of Florida though is Treon Harris. I think they're a lot different team, you know, if they still have Will Greer.
Yeah.
He needs to step it up. He needs to improve his accuracy a little bit and
Yeah.
make smarter decisions when he's back to throw.
All right, and then our next game was this is from a couple weeks. It was Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. It was a blowout for Bedlam. Oklahoma ran over this Oklahoma State team.
You know, I really like what DJ told me a couple weeks ago. It was the Baylor-Oklahoma game, and you never buy into someone who doesn't have defense, and you always go with the team that's been in the bigger games, and that's Oklahoma. You know, Oklahoma State, they're high-powered, they're explosive, but, you know, that defense is kind of shaky, and Oklahoma just went out there and they powered their way through Bedlam.
They did.
They say defense wins you championships, and it definitely won them this game. That's for sure.
Samaje Perine had a huge game. Baker Mayfield had a huge game. Oklahoma's back in the playoff contention. I think they will stay in because they don't have a conference championship. So they will be in my Final Four. So I think they're a great team. Besides their loss to Texas, I think they're the best team in the Big 12.
Yeah.
All right. Next game from this past Sunday was the Raiders and the Titans. I got to go watch this game. It was a very good game by both teams. Just didn't go the Titans' way, though. You know, Derek Carr had a good game. Mariota actually had a very good game as well. You know, he threw a pick that ended it, but, you know, good game overall.
Yeah, you know, young quarterback, so he's going to do something like that. But I still don't like the coaching. I think there were some play calls in there and some clock managements throughout that game that, you know, had it been done differently, there'd be a different score on the scoreboard.
I still think the Titans are this close away from being an over 500 team. They have the defense.
Yeah.
They can make the plays, but they don't have an offense, and you don't have receivers getting open, and you don't have
an O-line. Yeah, you do not have an O-line.
That's what you need in order to be a good NFL team.
Their O-line is probably their biggest need right now. All right. And then the next game was the Patriots and the Broncos. The Patriots have finally lost. There's one undefeated team left in the NFL. But Brock Osweiler is the story for this Broncos team. Replacing Peyton Manning. I think he will replace him for the rest of the year after this game.
He's 6'8". He can make all the throws he wants. He's got such an upside. I like this.
I mean, 100% honest. I think Peyton Manning, he's done after this year. You know,
I agree.
Great career, but I just think he's kind of worn out and stuff. But I will say this: I think New England's going to win the Super Bowl. I think I still think they're the best team in the NFL.
I agree.
You know what? I think the Panthers are the best team in the NFL right now.
I think they will be the Patriots matchup.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a great game, but I still think Coach Belichick and Tom Brady, just that experience would give them an edge.
Yeah. All right. And then this Sunday, the Titans will play the Jags again. This time it's at home. You know, the Jags just have right now the Titans' number. The Titans aren't the best. The Titans are down right now, in my opinion. You know, it's just I think Bortles will have a good game again. I hope Mariota has a good game for the Titans, but I got the Jags winning at Nissan Stadium.
I think just like I said about that Stanford Notre Dame game, that roles reversed. I think this time it's gonna be the Titans that win the game just because they're at home. That's the only reason.
Yeah, I agree with DJ. I think Mariota have a really good day, and I think they're just going to look for a little bit of payback from that last game.
All right. Well, we're going to go to a quick break, and then we'll be right back with this week's game day selections.
I'm taking over my body, back in control, no more shoddy. I bet a lot of me was lost, teasing, crossing eyes and dotted. I fought it a lot, and it seems a lot like flesh is all I got. Not anymore, flesh out the door, swat. I must have forgot, you can't trust me. I'm open a moment and close when you show it before you know it, I'm lost at sea. And now that I write and think about it and the story unfolds, you should take my life, you should take my soul.
Guess it's true, I'm not good at a one-night stand. Stay with me, 'cause you're all I need. This ain't love, it's clear to see. But darling, stay with me.
And we're going to get into this week's game day selections. You know, it's conference championship week, so a lot of big games.
Great time of the season. Conference champions, the real contenders are going to show themselves.
All right. And our first game, my fault again. We have the college football playoff rankings came out yesterday. And, you know, the only thing that really changed was that Michigan State moved up to 5 and Ohio State got back into the conversation again. But you know what the big surprise was, in my opinion, was at the bottom of the 25th ranking. Tennessee is again ranked.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe it that they fought back and got back into the rankings.
Tennessee is going to be in the top 4 had they beat Oklahoma like they should have and not completely blown that game. They make that field goal against Florida. Except, the only loss that Tennessee really has is the Arkansas loss. So right now Tennessee's in the top 4.
I could see them definitely being a top 15 team if they hadn't lost.
Top 4.
Yeah, top 15.
Top 4.
Top 4, top 15. I say unranked. We agree to disagree. All right. But then the first game for the conference championships will be the MAC championship. Bowling Green will be playing Northern Illinois. You know, Northern Illinois had a very good showing against Ohio State this year. Mm-hmm. I believe they will win this game, and I think Bowling Green doesn't have enough, really.
You know, I got to see Bowling Green whenever they play Tennessee, and that's a solid Bowling Green team. They have a huge quarterback that can make plays. He can throw the ball and he will run you over. So I know Northern Illinois is a very good team, like you said. They gave Ohio State a run for their money, but I got the Bowling Green. I got Bowling Green.
You got the Falcons. All right.
I think Bowling Green too. I think NIU's just going off a reputation.
Yeah.
They had good teams, but I think Bowling Green's just the better team.
All right. Our next game is the American Athletic Conference Championship. Temple will be playing Houston. You know, this matchup is very interesting. You know, both of these teams have had very successful seasons that nobody could have probably predicted. So I'm going to stick with the team that's been hotter. I'm going to go with Houston. Even though Temple and both of them have had really good seasons, I'm going to stick with Houston here.
I got Houston too. Both teams are very physical, but I think that Houston's just a better team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got Houston too, especially after that showing against Navy last weekend. They're just really good on offense, and they can score a lot. But also, you know, another thing is they kind of have that pretty good defense I think will really be able to shut Temple down.
All right. Next game is the Conference USA Championship. It will be Southern Miss and WKU. You know, DJ, I'll let you pick first.
Yeah.
I'll pick Western Kentucky. They have the better team. It is what it is. I got Western Kentucky.
You've been telling us all week that you were gonna pick Southern Miss.
Yeah. I had to think about it, and I can't let my heart get in the way of my brain. So.
And I agree with you. I like WKU. Brandon Dowdy is the best. He has the best yards in the whole country. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks. He's underrated, obviously, because he plays for Western Kentucky in the Conference USA. But I like Western. They're gonna have a huge passing game.
Go Toppers.
DJ, can we get you to say that real quick?
No, you cannot.
All right, let's get to that next game then. It is the SEC Championship game, Florida and Alabama. No question about who's going to win this game, in my opinion. Derrick Henry, Alabama, they'll run them over.
You know what? In this game, this is going to be my just normal prediction.
Okay.
Alabama
Good.
Alabama rolls all over Florida.
You've been doing this too much to me all year.
I know. I like to keep you on your toes.
Alabama's favored by at least 10 points, and Florida's just not showing me anything. I got Alabama.
All right, Tide rolls. All right, our next game will be the Mountain West Championship. Air Force will be playing San Diego State. This game will be at San Diego State, though. There's no neutral site for this one. I like San Diego State. They are 9-0 now in Mountain West play. The Aztecs, with Rocky Long as their head coach, has been a great head coach for them all these years. I like San Diego State.
I like Air Force in this one. I really think they're going to hit you with that triple option. They also have the ability, kind of like Navy, to really put the ball in the air and be pretty effective with it.
They are Air Force. I hope they could put it in the air.
I had Air Force at first. Then I had San Diego State, but I think just because it's at San Diego, in San Diego, I got San Diego State.
All right. Then our next game is the Pac-12 Championship, Stanford and USC. USC beat UCLA last week to get into this game. No question for me, though, who's going to win it. It will be the Cardinal. I think their offense is just way too good. And I don't know about their defense because of the whole thing with Notre Dame last week, but I still think their offense is what's going to get it done for them.
I think Stanford's just a tougher team, and I think Stanford is going to ground and pound USC, and they're going to walk away with a victory.
Yeah, I agree with DJ. I think Stanford just really has that power element that USC ain't going to like.
No. So we got the Cardinal over the Trojans then. All right. And then the next game is not that one, but it is, I believe, the Big Ten Championship. It's Michigan State and Iowa. Whoever wins this game is in the college football playoff. I still like Iowa. What they've done all year as a ground and pound team, they've just dominated everybody physically, and I like Iowa to stay undefeated, and they will be in the college football playoff.
Well, here it is. Everybody's talking about Iowa. Are they real or are they not real? We're going to find out. And I think that they're not. I got Michigan State.
Got the Spartans.
Yeah, I got the Spartans too. I really don't think Iowa's really been tested yet. This will be their first chance to really see if they're what all the talk's about.
We'll see. Definitely, it's going to be a huge game. But the bigger game is Clemson and North Carolina. North Carolina is on a roll right now. Nobody could have predicted. They lost their first game of the season, but since then it has been a high-powered offense, just no holding back. Marquise Williams has been huge at quarterback for these guys. You know what? Even though everybody's hyping around North Carolina, I'm sticking with Clemson. Even though they had trouble last week against South Carolina, I still think Deshaun Watson will take care of it, and then their defense will come in big, and they'll win this game.
I like what Coach Sweeney has done there at Clemson. I think it's a very solid team. But I'm going to go with North Carolina. I think the hype is real. I think that offense is going to come in there. It's going to really challenge Clemson. And I think North Carolina will come away, and it'll be a lot of talk.
All right, DJ?
I think Clemson's – it's not even going to be close. I think it's going to be at least a 2-touchdown game. North Carolina, yeah, they're good, but Clemson they have the offense, they have the defense, they are the real deal. They're going to hit North Carolina in the mouth and say, look, we're better than you, and your hype is nothing.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens all this weekend. Be sure you guys follow us, though, on Twitter for the Sports Report. Follow us at BSPN32 SR or BSPN32 SR. Follow Student Section at StudentSecBHS. Follow me at I'm Calling You. Follow Hungry at OneBigHungry68, and follow DJ at Blue Raider DJ. Next week's going to be a big week. It's the Army-Navy game next week, but the final college football rankings come out, and we'll know who's playing in the semis. And so we'll just see what happens all after this week. Let it unfold.
Go Army, beat Navy.
Go Army, beat Navy.
All right. Well, for DJ Bowers and Big Hungry, I'm Colin Simpson. We'll see you guys next week.
Come on, girl, kick it on back Z71 like a Cadillac. We go